Welcome back to episode 2 with Justin Thomas. On this episode, we're going to talk about his all-time 1 to 15, his club career, and his Wales career. But before we get into that, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel and have a world-class weekend.
Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2. In today's episode, we're going to go through Justin Thomas's career. So first of all, Matt, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so Justin, who's your best all-time played with 15 and manager?
Oh, great question that is. Right. When I tend to look at my players I played with, I think I go back to players I probably most respected and feared, all in one. I think front row. I think one of the guys I probably played with in Cardiff, Di Young, prop. I remember we turned up to training sessions, and I remember I ran him. We were doing a contact session once, and he was holding a pad, and I ran into him. We were doing contact, and he just laughed at me and absolutely hit me in the next week with his pad. Oh, and I just remember him being like granite. I just spent the next 3 years just trying to avoid him in contact sessions. Like
granite, that's a word, isn't it?
Yeah, he was granite. I call them like big bone boys, solid,
Yeah.
Not big muscular boys, but just boys who were big, real heavy bone boys who couldn't move, and they would literally laugh in my face, because I was quite slim and so a little bit of muscle but not big like. So yeah, they'd be laughing at me. So him, because he was like one of the hardest people I've ever met, like, and would rip into me, and tough boy on the pitch, British Lion, did all the hard graft. Definitely was one of my props. I was fortunate enough to play with Sean Fitzpatrick, the New Zealand hooker, when I was really young. Just a competitor, hard, tough, wanted to kill you.
It's a theme in rugby, is it?
Yeah, just at the coalface, it was into everything, like led from the front, was really like rip into you.
Follow him into the trenches, would you?
Yeah, just one of those guys. You spoke and you went, okay, let's go. Like one of those, and you need those in your forwards. Other prop that I played with. Let's have a look. John Davis, Wales prop. Again, super nice guy off a pitch. On a pitch, tough as teak. Farmer. Would like run and run. He's doing triathlons, I think he is. Really strong, natural, sort of really skillful at the same time as well. Yeah. Really strong scrummager. So he super impressed me as well not as a player, but as a person as well. Really like top guy as well off the pitch. So he's up there. Second row's Craig Cornell. Absolute, again, monster of a person. Real massive guy. But again, really nice guy off the pitch. Absolute animal on the pitch. The ball used to look like a little sort of
little toy.
Mini egg.
Mini egg. Yes, looks like a mini egg in his hand. His hands are so big. He plays a lot of golf now. Yeah. He plays off like scratch, and I think the golf ball is like crying before he's hit it. It's so hard.
It was exploding.
Yeah, he's just massive, and he did about 330 yards. And super skillful as well on the pitch. Super nice guy off the pitch as well. Other second row was so probably one of the super talented second rows, guy called Chris Wyatt. Real talented player, really athletic, could play second row, back row, just loved life, out partying all the time, I'd love a cigarette at half time, have a few beers, but super talented player, played a lot of sevens with him, a bit of 15s as well, so he was a super talented player.
Played fast for the second row then, was he? Playing sevens?
Yeah, no, he was, again, massive hands, mini eggs in the scenario again. Like, he was one of those tough players, he'd run all day, he'd win line-up ball for you, win kick-offs. He could offload the ball as well, on the back of his head, out the back. Super talented player, like, and ended up playing in France. I think he's coaching the team out in France now as well, living in France. Nice. Really good player. Back row was just a minefield of who to try and select. I played with a Polish international in Cardiff, a guy called Greg Kakler. He played for Brive. We played out. Cardiff played at Brive in a semi-final European Cup in 1987. He was playing for Brive, and he absolutely demolished us. And we signed him the year after to come play for us. super tough guy, super big guy. Didn't speak much English, just sort of grunted. And when he grunted, you just sort of took it on board. Really tough, hard, uncompromising sort of blindside flanker. One of those typical blindside flankers that just went out there and tried to kill people. And
how did he get into the game then? You said you don't hear many.
No, you don't.
Polish
I think he was
players.
probably one of the first. I think he got picked up in France. I think a lot of Polish players end up sort of going to play in Division 2. This was 1997. And he got picked up then as a hard and compromising player. And that Brive side, would, that was the Battle of Brive where Ponty had the fight in Brive.
Yeah.
We were out to play him in the semi-final, I think it was 3 weeks later. Just had a really nasty, huge, dirty pack. And he was at the centre of it. Yeah. So, a lot of respect for him as a player. And again, super nice guy off the pitch. It's some great nights out in Cardiff, and he's always looked after me, a young kid.
They've all got that switch, haven't they? Just press that switch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I tell young players today, you can be super nice off the pitch, but as soon as you cross on that pitch, it's a contact sport. It's competitive, the other person is trying to do better than you, and you've got to be competitive. Yeah. You've got to, if you want to play at top level, you've got to have. I think you've got to have a bit of a switch. Yeah, definitely. Open side, I was fortunate enough to have play with Martin Williams when his first cap.
Oh, right.
Local boy, Martin Williams.
What's he like?
Just gold dust, one of those players who just saw the game really and made it look really easy. He was always in the right place, the right time. Always it would be 2 seconds ahead of it. Every other player would see where the ball was going to go. And again, really nice guy off the pitch as well. Super competitive on it. Played 10 years at the top, 100 caps for Wales. Good role model for young players as well. And I think that's part of being one of my favourite players is not only being a really good player, but being a good role model off the pitch as well. Number 8, only one choice here. I was fortunate when I was 17 back down West Wales to play with this player when he was under 19, Scott Quinnell. Absolute. Yeah. One of my boyhood heroes. One of the best, definitely the best forward I ever played with. Yeah. He was brilliant. Could be an animal on the pitch, but super skillful as well. I saw him just do things on the pitch. I never saw any other forward do. I was fortunate enough to go and watch him play for Wales Rugby League down in the old Swansea City Vetch team in the 94 Rugby World Cup.
Yeah.
And they were playing against, I think it was Samoa, I think it was Tonga. It was a brutal game of rugby. There was a lot of my heroes playing for Wales Rugby League that side, and he was brilliant that night. And he was I was 15, 16, I think I was thinking, this boy is special, and I was lucky enough then to play with him.
That must be great, man.
I was going to say, what's that like? You're there when at one point you're watching him on the pitch, next minute you're sharing a dressing room with him.
That's unbelievable.
I bet
it is. Yeah. And he was the same because I was 17. I was playing for my county. I was on the bench for my county and 17 team, and I think there was an under 19 game on the same time. So back then they played the same time, and the under 19 up to half got injured in the warm up. I think, if I remember right, I remember right, and they asked me if I wanted to. I was on the bench for the 17s, and I had an older brother who was 19, so I played and trained, being competitive with him, so it didn't bother me. So they asked me to step up and play, and I played. And Scott Quinnell was captain. And if you watch him now on TV, he delivers his speeches, doesn't he? And he was that back end. I was sitting in the changing rooms, and he was delivering this speech, and his hairs on my arms going up. I'm playing with my hero, growing up, and I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. I was like, man, if that had been the end of my rugby career, I would have been, I'd died a happy man. Yeah. But I was lucky then to go on and play with him a little bit, and super, super nice guy. As you've seen on TV and things, and fun, quality player. And I played one game with him, and I followed him around the pitch because when he got the ball, he was so good. He was so good in contact or avoiding contact. He always had the ability to offload the ball. I played in a testimonial game, and I just literally followed him around the pitch because I knew if he carried the ball, I could offload it to him, and he scored a hat-trick that day. Just from him offload the ball to me. Yeah, he's that good a player. That's the highest compliment I can play. I just followed him around the pitch.
Yeah,
for 80 minutes.
Creates the gaps and sees you.
Phenomenal. Quality player. Yeah, really quality player. Probably the best 9 to play, and I've fortunately played quite a lot of really good 9s. We churn out 9s in Wales.
Yeah,
really good players.
Something about that.
Loads. That's one thing we do well. Outside halves and scrum halves, but I think the best scrum half I played with was Rob Howley. Again, super nice guy off pitch. absolute great trainer, trained his socks off, psychologically really tough player. Again, had the switch on the pitch. You know, I've seen him play for Wales, you know, Wasps with the European Cup, the Lions. Yeah, super talented, super competitive, super fit, and a really nice guy to go there as well. Like,
good motivational speaker as well, I think. I'm sure I went to a conference once and he was talking. He sounded really motivational.
Yeah, he's and down to earth. Best players, most of them are down to earth. Really humble, and you know, understand they've come from like small villages. Yeah, and being fortunate enough to train hard, through training hard and making sacrifices, is to go and play for your local club, and then go play for your local club, your first team, and then go and play for your local regional team, your big team back then, and then lucky enough to be, fortunate enough to play for Wales. So like, amazing. Yeah,
he's had a couple of goes at maybe being Wales manager, but that's not quite worked out, is it? Is there, like, what do you think's the difference between kind of the jumping up, because it hasn't really worked when he's been the Wales manager, but he seems to be a well-respected coach, and
he's really, really good players coach. He develops players really well. So I was really glad to see him come back into the Welsh setup, because he has that knack of taking players from the level that they come into the squad and improving them. And that's what we need in Wales. Yeah. And we haven't got a massive pool of players, so we need the best coaches under 18, 20s, senior teams have an ability to add value to those players. So yeah, we can churn up world-class players. If you look back 5-6 years time, we had Lee Halfpenny, we've got Liam Williams now, all those players are world-class players. I think we need to keep helping those young players. One, believe they can be world-class, and then two, help them understand how to get there. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Well, if you've got a world-class player training you will turn out.
Yeah, 100%. So, it all comes down to giving players positive experiences that they feel they're getting better as players. And if you can help players understand what they need to do to go it, and the good players will go and do it, then you can get there. You can definitely get there. 100%. I say, kids these days. I come from a village of 500 people and 1,000 sheep down deep West Wales. If I can understand how to get there and do it, and there's no reason why any person in Wales can't do it. Yeah, you just want it bad enough, and you got to put the effort in.
Yeah. So who's your number 10 then?
Right, 10. Again, you could loads of players you could select here, but what I went for in the end was Jonathan Davis, my boyhood hero. So I was really fortunate, growing up in Llanelli. My father took me to Llanelli. Watched him play for Llanelli, Neath. So growing up, he was like my boyhood hero. I watched him on Rugby Special back then, watching him running, sidestepping. I'd modelled myself on my sidestep on him. He was my real big model. I was fortunate enough then to watch him play for Wales Rugby League again, the same team as Scott Cornell. Got to know him a little bit, played with him in Cardiff. Got to trim him a little bit and see how he did things. And again, but Neil Jenkins, outstanding professional, quality player, really nice, super nice guy as well. Jonathan Davis probably was my boyhood hero. Watching him, some of the tries he scored in Rugby League were like ridiculous. I'd be on my, back in the day, I'd be recording on my VHS tape, of him playing Rugby League. I'd be rewinding them. I'd be watching how he'd be sidestepping, how he'd be dummy kicking, chipping over the top, and I'd go out then I'd try and replicate that really.
Yeah, like quite a long stride length, didn't he? If you get me the way you say galloped down the pitch.
Yeah.
For the try.
Short stride length for the first 10. Yeah. Short stride in the first 10, sort of to try and set some for his step. But then he'd lengthen his side step once he'd beat that player. Yeah. And he'd just glide then. Yeah. Not like Martin Fire, watching those type of players grow up. We were lucky probably back then. There's so many great players around the 90s.
Yeah, it was really a peak time, wasn't it, for Welsh rugby? Just the amount of depth of skill.
Yeah, really. Devereaux, Alan Bateman, watching all those boys playing the rugby league team. And then there was a brilliant, then they all came back then. Being part of that, yeah. So I played against all of them, which was quite surreal.
Okay, so who are your backs then?
So I've gone for, I played with John Olumu for Yai Names' testimony. I was only 20. Yai Names had a testimonial match down in Stradi, the old Stradi Park, Llanelli. And Yai asked me to be on the bench for the World 15. So it was made up of a lot of the All Blacks. The All Blacks playing in France, a test series in France. So it was a British Lions 15, which I was playing for, and I was on a bench for this rest of the world 15, if you like, World 15. And it was all the All Black players and all the top French players and like a few Argentinians thrown in. So I was on a bench for the World 15 and came on for the last 10 minutes. And I came on fullback and Lumo was on the left wing. And it was sold out. It was 12,000 people there. And I got the ball. I don't touch the ball once. And I got the ball out the wide channel. And the winger went wide for the Lions. And there was a massive hole there. And I could have done it and gone through and scored. But I had Lumo outside me. I'm thinking, they aren't kind of watch me play. They kind of watch Lumo play. And I've just like catch him past the Lumo. And he's trying to take it on the wing. I think he scored in the corner. Like. But yeah, I played him. Yeah, absolute phenomenon. Just
so you got an assist for Lumo.
Oh, his legs were massive. You couldn't believe how big his legs were. You couldn't physically. One person couldn't struggle to get. When people see the clips of rolling over my cat in the famous clip,
he just steamrolling
people, but you couldn't because he was that big and big legs. You couldn't physically get your arms around his legs to tackle him. Yeah. So you had to like speed bump him, try and slow him down, and then you had to ask your mates to come and jump on him to try and stop him.
2 or 3 of you.
And that's what they did. I think the French did it against him, and the South Africans did it in that World Cup. They sort of gang jumped him really, to try and stop him.
Yeah.
But then you could play somewhere else then because you had overlaps elsewhere then. Yeah. So one of those, and phenomenally quick, and again, super nice guy, like really quiet, would hardly speak. We spent hours, talking to people, signing autographs, having photographs. But it was a really quiet, religious person.
Yeah.
He signed for Cardiff as well, didn't he? So his back end of his
career. He came back when he had the kidney complaint, didn't he? Then and it was.
Yeah.
He came to play over for a little bit, but he was like a shadow of the person he was then.
And he had a PlayStation game and PC game and all that named
after
him, didn't he?
Yeah.
I had that.
You probably were the first
Rugby.
First big names to transcend for marketing and stuff like that. He kind of broke out.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, so you got Joe Malone on the wing. And
I got him on the left wing. I've got Scott Gibbs at 12. Again, one of the boys I used to watch with the rugby league team. Fortunately, when he came back, and I played against him quite a few times in the club rugby. I played one international match with him. Just an absolute competitor, just an absolute beast on a pitch. He just didn't take anyone prisoner.
Strong as an ox, wasn't he?
Yeah, not tall, quite short, but just aggressive. Again, but people talk about people being strong physically, lifting weights. That's not my experience at all with playing. It was, he was just aggressive, strong on the pitch, just willpower to be really strong. Like I told the story yesterday to some of the boys, some of the Met boys were talking about, how much weights they were lifting. They're all being competitive and taking a mick out of each other. I'm benching so much or squatting so much. And I was telling them a story, back about one of the Welsh players I played with. We went in to do strength testing. This was back in '96, and I was quite strong because I've been Met. We were lifting quite a bit of weight then. We were doing both science degrees and stuff. And this guy was a double British Lion at the time, and so we went in to do, every talks about bench press and stuff, and he was a double British Lion. He had about 50 caps, and he was bench pressing 80k, which was not a lot. But as soon as he crossed that white line on the pitch, he was aggressive.
Double it, probably, yeah.
Yeah, he was strong. He'd be pushing people off.
It's body weight to power ratio, isn't it? That's the key.
Yeah, but just being aggressive, and having that aggression, natural aggression on the pitch. Like I play with players who've, stick the bench press. I've helped him bench press 200 kilograms, which is a phenomenal amount of weight to lift. But then he's like, he's like a pansy on the pitch. He's like a little cat on the pitch, kitten. So it's all relative, really. I think. So
you have that intent, haven't you? You have that intent to kind of, I want to move this person, and
it's a mindset, 100%. And as a young player, I don't think I had that really. But as you get older and you get more experienced, and you can intimidate people, verbally on a pitch and physically.
Yeah. So if you don't, you might be strong, but if you don't go in with that intent to absolutely flatten them, you got to think that before you even go into the tackle. And if you're like, I don't know, and then you've already lost.
Yeah, and that's something that I say to younger players. I said, you cross that white line. I said, you can be a nice, really nice person off it. Right? You can be kind, you can be supportive off that. But as soon as you cross that white line, you've got to flick that switch.
Yeah.
You've got to have you're going into contact sport, somebody's trying to beat you, somebody's trying to potentially hurt you. You've got to be physical. If you want to get to the top, you have to have that mental mindset, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So who else makes up the rest of your
15? 13, again, loads of good players at 13. But probably one of the best players I played with at 13 was Lee Davis, Welsh centre.
Yeah.
Super skillful. Played a lot of football when he was younger. I'm a big advocate of, especially backs, outside backs. Really good footballers make really good outside backs. They have really good spatial awareness. They have good footwork as well. He was a really good footballer when he was younger, and transitioned to playing. I think he started playing rugby when he was sort of 16. Loads of great special awareness, so great hands. His catch and pass was probably the best I played with. Super tough, super aggressive. And again, one of these players that you'd follow. If he decided to take a short ball, hit an angle, I would just track him through, because I knew he had really strong, good offload skills. Yeah. So there's so many times I've played with him, I've run off him and scored tries. So we had that understanding that he tell me, like, oh look, I'm gonna hit a short ball here, get on my shoulder. So he said sometimes in the backs it's about those combinations. It's not maybe having all the best players on the pitch. It's how, like, the outside half and scrum half played well together, how the centres dovetail, how play the off each other, how the back three play really well and understand each other. Because you'll see sometimes there'll be really good players, but the partnership won't work. Yeah. And in the case that was in 2000, I think it was 2013, when Gatland left out Driscoll for the final test. Yeah. He realised that the centre partnership wasn't working, and he brought in, I think it was Jonathan Davis to work with Jimmy Roberts, and that worked brilliantly in the test.
Yeah, it was one battering, wasn't it? Battering ram, I should say, with Jimmy Roberts.
It's nothing against Driscoll. Quality player, and some of the best centre we've ever played, but the partnership didn't quite fire.
Yeah, you've got to have that link-up play, haven't you?
Yeah, and you have to have an understanding of each other. Yeah, and that's a massive thing. Yeah, definitely. On the right wing, I picked one of my boyhood heroes, Ian Evans. Outstanding, again, top guy off the pitch. Really nice guy. Really helped me as a young player. Took me into my wing. Helped me sort of understand how to become a better player as well. An absolute class on the field. Super aggressive, super skillful. Sidestepping, angles, working together. Helped me learn how to play fullback, because I wasn't really a fullback. I'd been a converted outside half. Right, so helped me loads. Top class guy. And a 15, loads. I could put 15. But I couldn't leave out Gareth Thomas, I think. Same age as me, grew up playing together. Could have picked him a centre, could have picked him a wing. Played fullback for the Lions, in the Lions, he was Lions captain. Again, superb athlete. Again, had the ability to flick a switch, super aggressive, but then top guy off the pitch as well. Great guy off the pitch, great fun, being around. Super skillful, and got to the top of the game, could become, Lions captain, Caps of Wales, captain Wales. He could have fitted in probably into any position. Played sevens with him as well, top quality sevens player as well.
Scored a hatful of tries as well, didn't he? He was probably that team that you've
and that's what tough it is.
I was looking up to when I was a kid.
And other players you could fit into that team quite easily.
Any other
fit into that.
Honourable mentions you want to?
Shane Williams.
Shane
Williams. Quality. I tell the boys, I played against him 3 times. He was a youngster playing for Neath on the wing. I think he was probably about 20, 21. I was about 28, 29. And I gave him the outside once and caught him. The second year I gave him the outside. So I was a year slower. He was a year faster. I gave him the outside and he's absolutely skinned me. Right? And the third year he was playing for Wales. And the third year I said, you're not having the outside. So I gave him the inside. So I basically defended him outside him, just give him the inside, and he took the inside. Beat me again. I was like, wow. And then that's when he went,
ballooned,
World Player of the Year. And absolutely unbelievable. Because he could beat you on the inside, outside. He had a goosey, he had a body swerve, he could step up both feet.
He's rapid.
And he was rapid. So, probably the hardest player I've had to defend outside Lumo. Because Lumo was just massive.
Yeah.
But Shane was absolute class.
So out of your 15 then, who would you say was world class, and any of the opposition you played against in your time, world class?
Cullen. Absolute Christopher Cullen. Hong Kong Sevens. So Lumo was playing. Lumo was playing prop. The guy called Eric Rush, who was like all black, playing hooker. A guy called Dallas Seymour was the blindside flank at the time. He was an absolute giant. He played prop. Justin Marshall played played 9. Andy Mertens played 10. I was marking a guy called Glenn Osborne, who was the fullback. And then a guy called Vin Deary, like a Fijian. New Zealand guy in the wing. I mean, we had a good team, like Howley, Ian Evans, Gareth Thomas, Wyatt, New Jenkins, decent team. And so I was playing against Osborne, really good fullback, good player. And so he went off, and Luma went off half time. And then on came this like young kid. I think he was about 19. And about my dap, a bit taller, not a big guy. And he gets the ball. And so I gave him the outside. So we said, defend into out. And he's gone. He's gassed me. I've gone, holy shit, he's quick. And so I've gone to try and catch him. And as I've gone to catch him, he stepped me back inside. And I didn't even touch with my finger, and he's on the post. And I've gone, wow, who's that like?
Yeah.
And it was Christian Keller, and he won man of the tournament then. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, world class definitely then.
But he didn't look like he's running. He was a glide, one of those guys who would just glide. Yeah. And he'd step you gliding.
An e-bike.
Yeah, and he was incredible. Yeah, and it's only when you realise then, when you go to play in those tournaments, or you go to World Cup, it's like how good the best players in the world are.
Yeah, even faster.
Yeah, in Europe or in Wales, we're in a bit of a goldfish bowl.
Yeah.
And you probably set your standards against those French or the English players, don't you?
Yeah.
As we go over there and play over there, World Cups or sevens, you're playing against Sorevi and those boys, there's another level of world class. Yeah, opens your eyes up.
Immense, yeah.
From your 1 to 15, then how many of those are world class in that team?
I'd say probably most of those just being world class off the pitch, and that's part of it of being a rugby player is that you have that ability to be a super top guy off the pitch as well, and you do all those things. Talk earlier on about being a role model, taking time to speak to people, having photographs. I think that's part of being a world class person.
Yeah.
As well, not just a world class player. And then I would say, all those players were world class at some point.
Yeah.
In there, some went on to be a lot longer being world class players.
Yeah.
Than others, but at some point they were all world class on their rugby journey.
Do you cross paths with any of those names now?
Yeah, I see quite a few especially Welsh boys mainly.
Welsh boys,
I see quite a few, because obviously a few of those now are sort of, excuse me, Ian's involved with the union. Yeah. Rob's coaching back. I see a bit of Lee Davis as well. So I see Gareth Thomas now and again. Neil Jenkins obviously coaching Wales team as well, so same maybe once or twice a year maybe. I see quite a few of those boys, and it's nice to the boys. It's nice when you see those players that you can just go back into being just being a normal person and being somebody who you spend time with on a rugby journey.
Yeah,
I think that's the key thing.
So just going back to your career then. So where did it all start? Youth career. How did you get into playing rugby? And just talk us through the process of first picking up the rugby ball.
Started off in Carmarthen Athletic, which big rivalry in Carmarthen between Carmarthen Athletic and Carmarthen Quins, 2 clubs in one town. So I started playing, I think when I started, it was the start of mini and juniors rugby. So I think I started when I was probably about 12. I don't think it was anything younger than that at that point. I played a lot of football until I played a lot of football for Carmarthen junior teams until I was 15. Pretty successful. Loved it. Centre half. Loved it.
Pace.
Yeah, no, just more doggy more than just passing accuracy. Tackling people. Because my father played rugby for Llanelli, so I had a bit of a rugby background. An older brother and younger brother. We were super competitive with each other. So I had to make a decision at 15 whether because at 15 you got to be available to play district rugby on Saturdays. So the rugby and football clashed. Mm-hmm. So at 15 I stopped playing football and then started playing district rugby. Played for Carmarthen district schools for 2 years. I really enjoyed it, playing with mates basically. Again, playing with mates, enjoying it. Then got a bit more serious playing youth rugby. So I was 16 playing youth rugby. That was an eye-opener. That's where you start to sort of think, well, I got to start looking after myself here, because boys were starting lifting weights. You're playing against 19-year-olds, and some 19-years just want to kill you.
Were you pretty good at that anyway? I'd imagine you've always
been I was
quite...
out So I was out half. So my older brother was out half. I was out half coming through. So we all trained together, argue together. Older brothers and all that, I learned off him as well. He was a great influence on me because I was learning off him because he was older than me. We played youth rugby together. We'd argue on a pitch. We I remember one game, he was playing us at half. I was on the bench. I came on at 13, just give me on the pitch for 10 minutes. And like, brother's an excellent kicker of the ball, like. And there was an overlap out wide, and I think he's kicked for the corner, and I've shouted at him, you should have passed it because we're going to overlap. And we're arguing on the pitch, and the ref's going, what's going on here? My father was team manager, he'd come on the pitch telling us off. Just remember those stories from youth rugby, and playing with your mates, and winning things with your mates, going on tour with your mates, and then going out on a Saturday night with your mates and looking after each other, and stories from that, loads of stories. Loved playing youth rugby in Carmarthen. We were super successful. Won lots of things. And then I had a really good PE teacher. So Roy Burgess was the ex-Llanelli and British Line PE centre. He gave me good advice to go join Cardiff Met. And then just about did enough work in sixth form, because I was playing a lot of rugby and playing a lot of cricket. And in sixth form, I was hardly ever there, because we played county cricket 19 as well. We were never there all day. So I just about got enough grades to go to Cardiff Met, and the rugby helped. So then started playing Cardiff Met first year, but I was signed with Llanelli. So back then, the best players in the area would go and train with Llanelli in the off-season, and you'd get picked up from there. And I started playing a couple of under-21 games for Llanelli. There was an under-21 competition back in Wales then, in Britain. And I was off, and again, a fluke happened. One of the fullbacks was actually from Carmarthen, was a year older than me, pulled a calf myself, pulled a groin, I think, in one of the games, and I was on the bench. So they asked me then to go and run and play at fullback. I never really played fullback, and I just remember catching the ball, and it was like 40 metres of space in front of me, and being an outside half, I was able to sidestep. And just remember, I'm going to run then. I went for a run and stepped a few people, I went past a few balls, and I think scored a few tries. I think the game went well. And then they kept me playing fullback. I think that's where it started. So I hadn't really had much coaching at fullback. And then I started playing Cardiff Met at fullback. Spent 3 brilliant years there, playing for the Saturday team and the Wednesday team. I started off in the second team. We won the Bucks. We had a hell of a team.
It's university
rugby. Played Saturday for Met, Cardiff Met. We played like Division East District 1. It was all the Wales and 90s Wales and 20 boys. So I had to play for Met then. So we got promoted from East District 1. We won Division 4, I think, league. Then we won Division 3. So I spent 3 years there. We got promoted all the way up the leagues. Got picked up, played Welsh students, played Welsh 21s. We played with a really strong Wales and 21 team, really successful. Got picked to play in the Wales A team while being at university. That went really well. I did loads of speed work. I knew I had to get fast, a little bit stronger. So I did loads of speed work at Cardiff Met. They taught me how to do speed training, to plyometrics, train properly. So when I went away one summer, did a 12-week training program just on speed and power. Came back, I wouldn't say strong, but heavier, a bit more powerful, really fast. Got picked up into the Wales training squad. Got picked for the 95 World Cup squad with Wales. So went away with them. And then came back, and then got capped. First cap in South Africa, back to South Africa to play the World Cup winning team South Africa. That was unbelievable. Some of the things happened over there. Took us down to the local police station, let us loose on Uzi machine guns.
Oh, right, okay. Wow.
Unbelievable. Magnum shotguns. Just, boys, help yourselves. There's an Uzi machine gun, there's a clip, go for it. I'm like, what's going on here? In a shooting range. Picked us up in Puma attack helicopters. Flew around, Johannesburg. It was crazy. Things.
What year was that? 95, you say?
That was 95, September 95. So I did the month World Cup with Wales. Didn't play, but loved it. Trained with all the all the sort of boyhood heroes, and put a bit of weight on. Eating properly every day.
How old are you now?
20.
20.
Yeah. So then came back, played my first cap back in South Africa. That was crazy because we played the World Cup winning team. I remember we ran out on Wells Park first. We did have a massive team. We were a good team though. We weren't big though. And I remember it was the World Cup winning team that came running down it's quite a long run onto the pitch from Wells Park from the changing rooms. And they came on, and I went, oh my God.
Massive, eh?
Absolutely. Or not past massive, they're huge.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought that day I could die today. Genuinely, like, if I get caught here and mullered, I'm in trouble because they were the fullback, for example. I was at that point I was 12 stone 4, 5'10", but quick, and so I could get myself out of trouble a little bit. So at the time, the best fullback in the world was a guy called Henri Joubert. Yeah. He was 6'1", 15.5 stone. My mother loved him. Right? So she said, she wanted was his jersey and his shorts and socks. So I went to
and his shorts and socks. That's
shorts and socks. So I got his jersey. She wanted his shorts and socks. Jeremy, all right. So my mother loved him, and so I'm playing against him now. So that's really strange for me. My mother loves Joubert. He's a good-looking guy as well, like fit, big guy, bronzed, and so I go in. They give you 2 sets of kits to swap. So you keep your first kit, and then they give you a second set of kit to swap because your first cap. And so in the change, room, knocked on the door. I said, my mother loves you, blah, blah, blah. Can I swap your kit? And he had 40, I said, I've still got a jersey in the house. It's framed. He had a 46-inch chest.
Wow.
Fullback.
Jeez.
And his shorts were 38-inch shorts. Waist. 38-inch. Yeah. And socks were sock. But that's how big and strong these boys.
Size 20 feet.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah, but I remember he came through once. I made a good tackle on him, and I was like super excited because he was my sort of legend, and the game went quite well. We were winning. We were winning. It was we were losing 18-12 half time. Doing all right, in the game, just about in the game, and then one of our players got sent off for punching Juiced Van Vesties, and then went to prepare shift, and we lost by 40 points to 12.
Yeah. What was the weather conditions that day? Is it quite hot to play in a way?
Boiling.
How tough is it to play in South Africa? Because it looks dreadful just as a spectator.
Oh, I loved it. They are full on sport mad over there, and especially rugby, cricket.
I just mean like weather conditions. I
loved it.
Yeah.
The only problem was we were playing in Joburg. When I live back home, I'm literally my house is on the beach, so it's sea level. You can't get more sea level.
It's an altitude difference.
It's 2,200 meters, I think.
Yeah.
And so I got there. So I'm living in Cardiff. So I don't know, that's 50 meters above sea level.
Yeah.
So we hadn't done any altitude training whatsoever. So we get there and we play a warm-up game against Northern Transvaal. So the old system was Northern Transvaal were even bigger than the Bulls. And they absolutely hammered us the week before in this warm-up game. And they beat us up big time. And we thought, this is going to be tough now. And but I remember the first day I landed there, we did a training session trying to acclimatise, and I genuinely thought I was having an asthma attack.
Yeah,
I think the physio gave me an asthma pump because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
We brought it up at sea level and
humidity as well, I guess, isn't it?
The heat was right. It was just it wasn't that humid. It was about 24 degrees.
Yeah.
But it was just the altitude. It was an absolute killer. Yeah. And that's what you don't realise when you're watching games. This is the insight is. Same in Hong Kong. You watch Hong Kong Sevens. You do a 10-minute warm in Hong Kong Sevens, you are fatigued. Yeah. Because the humidity is a nightmare. So you don't and you don't think of those things. If when you think, right, I'm going to play for Wales. Brilliant, I want to play for Wales. You don't realise the playing conditions you have to try and play in.
Yeah. You're not used to
fatigue.
Yeah.
Fatigue of playing at altitude. Fatigue of playing in humidity in Hong Kong is unbelievable.
Yeah. So, where'd you go then?
So Cardiff Met. Spent 3 years Cardiff Met. I went back and forth playing for Llanelli, playing sort of friendly games for them. So then I signed back for Llanelli. Boyhood heroes. Really enjoyed it. But I was living in Cardiff and I was finding it difficult. My wife, we were living together in Cardiff at the time. She was teaching in Cardiff. And we were training in the nights. And I was driving back and forth. And we were super fit down at Llanelli with a really superb S&C guy called Peter Herbert. And he was way above his time. Like we were training on the track. We had a track team. We could have had like a Wales relay team. We were that fast. So we had like Wayne Proctor, Ian Evans, John Griffiths, myself. Loads of boys who were like super fit, really fast. I was finding I fell asleep at the wheel a couple of times driving back. I was finding it really hard driving back before. I was actually working for the union as well. I was doing like so we had central contracts then because there was going to be a breakaway at one point. professional game. Was going to go professional with a guy who ran media companies. Can't remember his name now. So they give us central contracts. So I was getting a bit bored of playing full-time rugby. So I said, look, I want to do some schools visits and things. So I was interested in teaching, helping people get better. So I had another contract to go out to schools and do all the schools visits, do presentation evenings and things. So I was doing all that as well, and I was training quite a lot. So I was on that point, we were overtraining as players because profession was new. So people didn't really know that there was fatigue and when you should train, how many hours shouldn't train and things. So we were definitely fatigued. And on Saturdays, some of the games, I was definitely fatigued after half an hour. Yeah, my legs were heavy. They were fatigued from the training week. So I found that really difficult. So I then decided Cardiff came in for an opportunity for me where Mikey Ray wanted to go and sign for Bedford. And the chief exec of Cardiff said, look, we're only going to let Mikey Ray go if you come and sign for us. And I respect him, Mikey Ray. He's a really good player. And I said, look, you've only got a week to make a decision. And then they were signing. So I had that problem of travelling back and forth, falling asleep at the wheel. Wife was living in Cardiff. I was living in Cardiff. Felt a bit guilty if I hadn't signed for Cardiff, and Mikey Ray hadn't gone now, so I was a little bit part of it because he was a nice guy as well. They were signing. Mike Di Young was coming back to sign for Cardiff. Rob Howley, Lee Davis was signing for them.
There's a group of players they all signed at the same time.
Yeah. And we were all speaking to each other about, are you going to sign? We're all going to sign. And they were trying to make Cardiff a successful team because they wanted to do well in the European Cup. Yeah. So I said, right, it fits for me. I'm a Llanelli boy, and I still love Llanelli. I still watch him all the time. I took my son down we had season ticket with my son. We went down and watched the games. So I signed with Cardiff. Spent 3 years in Cardiff. Really enjoyed that challenge as well. Playing European Cup rugby, being successful, getting to European Cup semi-final, travelling, playing European Cup rugby. Still love that now. I still travel around Europe, watching European Cup games. I went to Toulouse last year, watched Toulouse play. So brilliant places to go and play. So then played Cardiff for 3 years. Then took a part-time contract to go back and do my postgrad to teach. Because at that point, I picked up an injury. I snapped my cruciate. I struggled. I wasn't playing as well as I was. I wasn't quite enjoying it as well as I was.
What age are you now?
I was 25.
Okay, so quite.
20, I was 26. So I took a part-time contract at Newport to try and work post-grad around it. That didn't work, so I stayed at Newport for a season. Really enjoyed that. Great bunch of boys. A good team as well. Guy Teichmann was captain, played really well. Nice, super nice guy. Really good player. Yeah. Really nice off the pitch, getting on the pitch. A bit of a real warrior. Not nasty, but real warrior. Yeah. Then went back and did my teacher training post-grad, Cardiff Met, and then signed part-time with Caerphilly. That's when the journey with Caerphilly started. Yeah. Really enjoyed that because I went back to training twice a week. And then I was able to go back and do sort of my speed work on top of that. So I wasn't overtraining, so I was in control of my own training, if you like. Really enjoyed teaching, helping other people, and teaching at Baysleg with senior teams in the National League, helping those really good players move on into regional rugby and into contracts. Really enjoyed that. We was probably run that as a bit of a mini rugby academy, really, between us, all the teachers there. Enjoyed 6 really great years at Caerphilly, playing European Cup rugby, still playing against some of the best players in Europe, playing against the top sides in England and France, getting to a European Shield final, playing against Castres. They were full-time, we were part-time, playing against some of the best players in Wales, so we're semi-pro. Then got invited back. I actually got invited back, because I then got back playing well enough to get put back into a Wales training squad. Right. But I was invited to do a Wales A training squad with the Wales seniors. By that point, he was regional rugby, and I was teaching, and they were training in the mornings. So I pulled out the squad. I said, look, I can't train. I'm teaching. If you're a teacher, you got to teach. Yeah. You got to be sort of in that 100%. So then got asked to go into the Welsh Sevens setup as an experienced player at 27, 28. So I played a lot of Sevens when I was younger, before I got into 15s. And went back and loved it. Did the World Series 2000, 2001, when I could run my teaching, my holidays. So went around the world playing, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan,
Yeah.
Did all those places, loved it. You know, had some success, played with some really good players as well. And then I got picked for a GB team. It was then a World Games.
Right, okay.
So the World Games like a pre-runner for the Olympics. So they were trying to get sevens in the Olympics. So I went with the GB to Japan. I went back to Japan to play in a World Games. GB sevens. That was a great experience because that was bringing us all different sports as well. An opening ceremony.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And I finished what I did. That was my last thing I did. So I came back. It was my summer holidays. I came back on a Sunday from Japan, and then I said, right, that's it. Now I'll finish playing national standards so I can concentrate on my teaching full time. So I still carried on for a couple of years playing Caerphilly a little bit. I loved that. And then retired, back to teaching, went back to family, bringing the kids up. I'm just now going back the last 4 years into coaching.
What age did you retire?
Retired when I was 33. I was actually, a lot of the boys who played for Cardiff Met yesterday, I played my last game against.
Okay.
We were losing 10-8 against Cardiff Met in Caerphilly, in I think it was Division 1, and we lost by 50 points in the game. And I remember thinking, this is when you're ready to retire, I'd rather be shopping with a wife on a Saturday afternoon. That's time then. That's,
Jeez.
Yeah, that's.
They say when.
And that's I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't play. I played a couple of testimonial games.
Yeah.
Along the way, probably about 4 or 5 of them, but nothing serious.
No.
Yeah.
What would you say is the highlight of your club career?
Definitely European Cup journeys, because it's rugby. Don't get me wrong. And the European Cup is brilliant, but again, it's going into those cultures and sort of going around the towns. France especially is rugby mental mad, and having those cultures, playing with them, and then socialising with the players after. The good thing when you play European rugby, all the players will stay in that and will socialise after, and you build those connections of friendships, and then you go back to them and they travel around the clubs. You see a different club. I played a Bucks game for Cardiff Met when I went back when I did my postgrad when I was 27. So I'm a full-grown man. I'm playing against 20-year-olds, and I played up in Birmingham University. I think it was a quarter-final. And played the game. I think I scored a couple of tries. Anyway, so I'm playing for Caerphilly in the European Shield out in Parma in Italy. And I came out. There's only about 500 people watching. And there's a group of boys there. And they're all pretty drunk. And they all started chanting, there's only one Justin Thomas. And I'm looking around going, who the hell's going to know who I am around here? And it was a Birmingham University lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was probably, the captain came up to me after the game and said, you broke my thumb that game. I don't remember anything, obviously. And so what I got him in hospitality. So there's about 30 of them on tour, Birmingham University. There's a big hospitality tent for this European Shield game for Parma. It was a big thing for their local town. And we'd beat them. So we were staying over for the night. And I got them all in the hospitality tent.
Nice.
We had a night out with them and we all remember each other.
Good memories, though, isn't it?
Brilliant. And that's what rugby gives you. It gives you that rugby family. Yeah.
Well, talking about international games then, what do you remember from your, can you talk us through your international games for Wales and try you scored versus Italy?
Yeah, it was I got it. So the first cap was the South Africa match. And that was a great experience. And I thought, they were big and strong and aggressive. But I thought, actually, we were probably more skillful that day. I thought, actually, if we play the Welsh way, and as long as we get parity up front, because that's always been the challenge, we're skillful players. So even the forwards can offload and play and things. So I played then, the autumn series back then was Fiji, Italy. I'm trying to think was there any more after that. There was definitely 2 games we played in the internationals, and then it was into the old Five Nations then. Yeah. And I remember thinking the old internationals were okay. I didn't feel out my depth. They were tough games, don't get me wrong. But then I think we had England away, first game, Five Nations back in 96. And I thought we were really well prepared. And I thought I was pretty well prepared. And so we came up with this game plan to keep the ball on the pitch. So don't kick off field. We don't England have loads of lineouts so they can drive. They'll win pennies from the driving mauls. They'll drive and they'll just take us apart up front. And so this long idea to kick long down what we call the channels. So they brought in this guy called Dave Allred, who's a real special. He's world famous now, and he was good back in teaching how to punt long. And it was 3 weeks before the game. And looking back, as an experienced person, you can't groove a new skill within 3 weeks. And so we were practicing this new, kicking long, using this new kicking style. But because it was a new skill, if you look back on the chargedown at the England game, a couple of mates who were in that kicking sessions they could see my cogs turning on how to sort of go through my sort of set of put the ball outside my right leg and kick through the keyhole, head down, follow through. But because it wasn't ingrained in I didn't do it automatically because it was a new skill to me. It took too long for the cogs to turn to go through each phase of how to kick. And I didn't even see Jeremy Gascoigne. So to this day, I don't know. I watched it back, obviously, and disappointing, and that. It's a moment, isn't it, in the game where they've gained momentum back and all that. And so it's gone in a flash, really. But the funny thing were, and the stories I tell are, so I'm coming off the pitch. I'm obviously distraught. So the momentum of the game's gone. They've won the game. We were in the game. It was one of those games you could have won. Yeah. And I was coming off, I was devastated, and Gwyn Jones was here with me, and a good mate of mine, playing rugby with, and he's trying to console me. And then Nigel Davis, the centre that day, who was a Connecticut boy, funny lad, good guy, but funny. So he said, Gwyn was going, don't worry about the 84,000 watching, it's only 84,000 watching. And then Nigel Davis years in, comes across and goes, he said, don't worry about the 84,000 watching it. He said, worry about the 13 million watching on TV.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, they're trying to get me laugh, but I'm distraught tonight.
Yeah, you're probably beyond the point.
I'm in the changing rooms, I'm not speaking. And, players looking at you, you're not sure where they're obviously disappointed with me because giving a try away. So I then decided I'm not going out the night. So there's a big dinner after. Back in those days, there's a big dinner. There's a big dinner in the Hilton on Park Lane. I said, I'm not going to it. I'm just going to keep my head down. And the boys dragged me out, right? So Lee and the boys, they dragged me. So you can't stay in a hotel. We're coming up with this. So there's a TV camera. There's a Welsh TV camera there. And they've given me a can of lager. And it's caught me walking onto the bus with a can of lager, swigging it, laughing. And it's like just caught a moment. Yeah. And that's maybe made a big thing the next day then.
Blown out of proportion.
Yeah. And then we've sat around the table and we're in this dinner. So we've got the England centres and back three. You've got the Wales centres and back three. We're all sitting together. And there's Carl and there's Gus Scott and there's legends of the game, Lions captains. And it's a bit surreal. And Gus Scott wasn't particularly well liked by the players, per se, because he was quite arrogant on the pitch. But then the stories start telling. And once you break the ice, again, all the players are great. They're a good laugh and really nice,
Yeah.
Then I did an interview the next day, about what happened. And the toughest thing was, that was a Saturday. And then I did the interview on the Sunday. And then we had Wales-Scotland at home the following Saturday. And that was my first big game back in Cardiff. And I was having a load of, you can imagine, Justin Thomas not ready, he's too young, he's too small, he's not good enough for the high ball, all that rubbish. And he's kicking, he's working, he's working his one-on-one defense, all that stuff.
Do what the media do, basically.
Yeah, he was tough. As a young person, he was tough. Yeah. And I think looking back, I was proud of the fact that I backed it up. So I was getting loads of, abuse off the public and, even some my mates who lost bets on it. And I had to turn that around and go, right, next Saturday, I've got to put a big performance in. And I was super proud that, I played really well the following week.
Is that a big, massive sink or swim moment for you? Because you could have just buckled under the pressure.
100%. And definitely it helped. I tell my brother now, it definitely helped me having that older brother. We were super competitive with each other. And maybe quite resilient. Yeah. And having good people around me as well. Because people say to me, best of luck today playing the game. I don't believe in luck. I think you make your own luck. I think if you work hard enough and you prepare for your opportunity, like the opportunity I had when I played that day outside half, when I was on the bench for 17s, off the back of that performance, I got pulled into Welsh Schools under 18 trial a year early. When the full back got injured, And I played 21 as a fullback, and I caught the ball at fullback and ran and sidestepped people. Yeah. That's how I started playing fullback. I wasn't super coached to play fullback. It was just sort of what I prepared to do, watching my heroes playing. So I think if you prepare well enough and you get that bit of opportunity, and then if you prepare well enough and you get that opportunity and it goes well, I think that's more important.
Yeah, isn't there saying something like luck is preparation meets timing?
Yeah, 100%.
That is your luck.
100%. Yeah. I don't buy it. I never say good luck to people.
Yeah.
I say, train hard, do your best.
It's a thrown away term now, isn't it? Good luck, best of luck.
Yeah. Because when I played, it was never down to luck. All right, you can get luck of a bounce of ball, I've had a ball bounce up and hit me in the forehead in an international match, Wales, France. Never happened again in my career. So the luck of a bounce of ball at fullback is, you never know. But you can prepare, if you prepare well enough for, taking high balls, for example, or practicing your one-on-one tackles, things you're going to need to do those moments in the game.
Yeah.
I think you can, to a certain extent, be well prepared for those moments.
Yeah. Do you think you drew a line under that incident pretty quickly?
Yep. I moved on.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it took me a couple of days.
I imagine it. Years, some players may even never come back from stuff like that.
But to focus on your next game, you need to just totally take out your minds, because otherwise you'll have a knock-on effect for your performance. And like you said, you went out there and put in a great performance against Scotland, so that obviously clears the deck then, doesn't it?
And it builds respect as well, because the players then, players respect you more then, because they see you back it up. Because some of the players then, is he unsure? Is he really ready to play fullback? Wales? Is he not? Was I potentially maybe too young? I not had enough experience. All those questions would have been asked. Yeah. And you can go back and ask myself that. But once you put a good performance in, you feel part of that team. Then you feel like you haven't met your mates down. You've contributed. Yeah. And if you feel you've contributed, then that helps you build your confidence and your belief.
Yeah, definitely.
How did the Five Nations pan out that year in the end?
Yeah, we only won one game. But it was so close. I say to people now, when people ask me that question, I say, God, we were so close. We lost 21-16 away to England, and I got charged down. So, and we were on top of them, really. So we could have won that game. Yeah. And if we win that game, we've got momentum. Yeah. We lost 16-14 at home to Scotland. Who's the Scottish coach now? Gregor Townsend was quality that day. He was just best player on the pitch. And he created a try-to-score game. Again, could have gone either way.
2 points, yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I think I got held up over the line once there. That could have gone our way. We went at Ireland and were well beaten, but we scored, I think, 3 tries there too, and we were in the game. They probably got on top of us a little bit up front and set piece. But we were well in the game. We beat France at home last game.
They were the boys back then as well, weren't they? They were
going to the Grand Slam. They were the best team in Europe at that time. They were better in Ireland and England. Yeah, they're all the stars playing. I'm playing against Intermac. I played against Intermac that day, and Gareth Thomas was on the wing, and there's a loose pass, bounce pass, which is the most dangerous pass in it is, because as soon as the bounce pass gets done, you sort of sit and pause, and he went bang, 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 and I looked at Alfie looked at me, and he's on the post. That's how good the players are you're playing against. And we won. It was pouring down rain. And I think Gareth won the last line out. They were 5 minutes from the line. They looked like they were going to catch and drive and score and win the game. And I think Gareth won a line out to win the game. We won. I think we won 16-15. That was good out in Cardiff. That was.
Yeah.
It
was a good game in Cardiff.
yeah. And it was And that just showed the potential we had. So we could have, obviously we could have won, a Grand Slam up here because we were well being by Ireland away, but we were in the games.
Yeah.
We had a good team, good young players.
You talked about your transfers between the different clubs. What is a rugby transfer like? We see it a lot with football, where like transfer deadline day, big spectacle. It's rugby, it doesn't have the same kind of, the same, sort of glamour to it.
Coverage,
what goes into a rugby transfer, and how is stuff?
It's usually as simple as a phone call.
It's just
no agents.
Is there many agents?
Well, funny enough, when I transferred from Llanelli to Cardiff, I got because Cardiff is a well-established club with in the capital city, and you've got a lot of people there who will give you advice and help you along the way, if you like. So I got offered a rugby agent, and before I signed with Cardiff, I went up. he got me a deal to go and sign for Harlequins in London. And it was a pretty good deal as well. And it was just 3-year contract to go and play up in Harlequins and live in London. And they provide a flat. And Harlequins were playing some good rugby that time. They were playing some run rugby. And Dick Best was their sort of rugby manager. So he rang me up and I went to meet him in London. Went up to Harlequins with this agent. And I probably would have gone if my wife, now wife, hadn't just had a teaching job in Cardiff. Because it was a great deal. Yeah. And they were playing some good players. But also I wanted to stay in Wales as well a little bit, to play in Cardiff and Wales and play for Wales. Yeah. But it was a hell of a deal they offered me, and it was a 3-year deal, and for a young player, and living in London, Harlequins. But all those Welsh boys then who signed for Cardiff, they're right, this is maybe a good place for me to be. But there was an agent there, but he didn't really do anything, if I was you. I think he probably set up a few meetings, that was about it.
You didn't cut that deal with Harlequins then, or was you just...
No, it was just, I think like back then it was like a standard sort of contract deal. You learn that when you're older. Yeah. Even when I signed my first Cardiff contract, it was a standard deal. But you learn when you're older. Yeah. There were other deals that were going about at that time that were a lot better. And even when I renegotiated my contract in Cardiff, I negotiated it. Because I didn't really see that much point at that stage.
I'd be like that if it was me. I've never been in that situation, but
and I wasn't massively money oriented player. I just wanted to play good rugby with good people and travel. Don't get me wrong, I had a mortgage to pay. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I was getting relatively well paid for what I was worth.
Yeah. That's the key, isn't it? You want to be paid what you're worth, don't you?
And I was never signed for a club chasing money. It was never, if I had, I'd have been in Harlequins. Yeah, 100%. If that would have been it, because the money they were offering compared to money in Wales was nowhere near it. Yeah. But it did help having central contracts at that point. Yeah, you did a good job keeping players in Wales through central contracts at that point. But then I snapped my cruciate in second year in Cardiff, and then I lost my central contracts. So it's difficult. One injury again, you never know. That's why I started when I was getting older, realizing that I started picking up a couple of shoulder injuries, things, and so right, I need to start thinking about what am I going to do for the next 35 years, if you like. My wife was teaching. All my mates had gone into teaching. So
you had the connections there.
Yeah, I can always go back to Cardiff Met and do the postgrad course and teach, which is probably, looking back, is probably the best decisions I ever made.
So Justin, you've had an amazing career. Sounds there. You've been around, travelled the world playing rugby. Any standout stories for you? Any training ground sort of moments, or just moments in particular
that you can share?
Yeah,
loads. A lot of them around funny things happening. Like I said, touched on earlier on, Wales-France, the last game. It's live on TV. There's a lot of people in the stadium, people watching, and the ball just end bounces up, hits me in the square in the forehead. And it never ever, nothing ever like happened again in my 15. Yeah. Just bizarre things happening to you, players running prank jokes.
A couple of pranksters around there, I bet. On the rugby scene.
Like I've come back on a bus one night and boys pinned me down and like stripped me down my pants and chucked my clothes out of the bus. I remember going to come back to Cardiff to meet my wife on a night out. And I saw I got on is a blazer and I borrowed a pair of shorts. I'm going into Cardiff and a blazer and a pair of shorts that I borrowed of somebody.
Still pulled it off, probably.
Yeah, he's walking, just laughing, and just tell the stories, didn't he? Yeah. People just love hearing the stories, don't they? Yeah. It's just those things that happen, I put to somebody the other day, I don't remember this, but I think at one point they would come back on another away journey, and the forwards were slagging off the backs in the game, and I was like, no, I'm not having this. So I stood up for the backs, and then we ended up in a full-on fight with the forwards and backs on this bus. And the forwards came to training the following week. I love that. I loved all the backs. I'm a good fight. This a lot of respect, and just stupid pranks like fire extinguisher fights. You hear them all. Every time you go to France, we ended up once on the back of the News of the World Philly team. We had a massive fire extinguisher fight in this hotel in France. I mean, we made about that much, and nothing was made of it. We were amazed, And just like dinners going wrong. Being in France, like France, where most of the stories are, because they're absolutely bonkers. After dinners, it's all free wine,
and you're away as well. You're
away. You're away. People doing stupid things. Similar to people taking things and scooters and
usual stuff.
Usual
golf buggies.
Just had a few 20 beers, all those things. Another good one was we were playing Castles in the European Shield final for Caerphilly, in the Majeski Stadium. So Mark Ring's coaching us, a really good coach, and he's claustrophobic, right? And the boys didn't know this now. So we jump in the lift to go down, to get on the bus to go to the ground, and we overpack the lift. And there's some big boys in there, all second rows, and I'm in there, and we're literally crammed up. Halfway down, the lifts get stuck.
No way.
Ringo goes, right, boys, no one touch me. Well, there's about an inch of space between us. And he goes, I'm claustrophobic. And I'm going, oh my God, this is going to kick off.
It's a nightmare.
We're stuck in this now for about 15 minutes, right? We're trying to ring, no signal, right? So we're pressing this emergency buzzer. There was no phone in there like there is now. Emergency buzzer. And the sweat starts running down the inside of this elevator, and Ringo's just going mental. So we're late now. We get to the ground late. So we get to the ground 45 minutes late because we've been stuck in this lift. And Ringo's claustrophobic, just losing it, going absolutely clean off this.
Yeah, worst nightmare that is, isn't it?
Yeah, there's things things going wrong. I thought it was brilliant. One of the things you don't realise when you get to play for Wales is it's the bus journey from the hotel to the stadium. It is unbelievable. And because you've got a motorcade, so you've got motorbikes, and they clear the way for you. And we were going, I think it was Island games, one of the Island games, and there was 6 bikes. There was 4 in front, 2 behind, and the 4 bikes in front were clearing the way, and they were just kicking cars out of the way because the bus is just coming through. And as a player, you got to be big sort of team talk when you leave the hotel. You get in the zone. You're in the coach. You got your headphones on, just in the zone. And then you want to get to the stadium, and get your head in the game. And the bus journey is hilarious because it's just like foreign motorbike police just kicking cars, pushing people away from you, and you're watching things going over there. Yeah. And they come down some Westgate Street and you see all the fans. And it's really quite emotional. It is quite. I think my first home game was Wales Scotland, and when you line up on the 50-metre line to sing the anthem, you don't realise all the families are right in front of you. So imagine how your boyhood dreams to play for Wales. One of my boyhood dreams was to play for Wales. So, and I'm living it, and all my family are there. I'm singing the anthem to them. I'm like tears. When she plays tears, that is it's like that because you just realise your boyhood hero.
Special moment.
It's unbelievable. It's so emotional. It is. I get it. So when I see players crying, I get it, 100%. But the biggest problem is then you've lost that focus. 2 minutes later, you're kicking off an international rugby match, and it's full on chaos. So that's the difficult emotionally to.
Licking the switch.
Control, 100%. Yeah. And people didn't tell you that. So until you've been in that situation, you don't know how to manage that situation.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think now they prep a bit better for that because it's difficult.
Yeah, it's something you wouldn't think you got to not train for, but mentally prepare for, I guess.
Yeah, like for example, they play the music now. So they play the music.
They actually train for it?
Yeah, so they play the background music. Because another thing people don't realise, so when you play for your club, or even when you play for like Wales, in front of, say, 5,000 people, you can communicate to players. You can hear the calls. You can talk to each other. When you're in the stadium with, say, back then it was, so I did both stadiums. If you've got 70,000 people and they're loud, so if I'm shouting at my winger to tell him to do something or call, he can't hear me. So we developed hand signals.
Okay.
So we did a hand signal system to let him know what I'd want him to do. And that was, nobody told you you had to do that because nobody told you.
I didn't know about that. That's good info.
So, because you can't, he's 20 yards, 30 yards away from me because the noise is so loud. If I'm telling him to do something, he can't hear me.
Well, if you got to shout multiple times, you're distracted from what you're thinking about.
We created a back 3 hand signals. Yeah.
Good.
Because if I was going to go left, I'd pull him with me. We had to cover the backfield together.
Yeah. So,
and those things you learn as you go along.
What was the difference, the switch over? My dad worked on building the Millennium Stadium, And it was such a big deal for Cardiff with the Rugby World Cup. And switching over, what was it like going into that into the new stadium with the closed roof? How much of a difference did it make atmosphere? Right, you talked about
massive. But for weather as well, because what we didn't realise with the open roof. So the Wales-France game I'm talking about, the pitch was flooded, right?
Right. Okay.
So because and the game it was like 16-15 guys. It was a horrible, rubbish game because it was wet all the time. And what happened? The water wouldn't seep through them at the old Principality.
Yeah,
they would stay on top, right? Because it wasn't very thick soil there. For example, the last game at the old stadium was the Cardiff Swansea Cup final, and it was end of May, so all the boys turned up in mouldy boots, which we rock hard. It absolutely poured it down in the warm-up, right? Yeah. There were puddles all over the pitch, and all the boys had turned up in mouldies. So we're all scrambling around trying to find steady boots.
Yeah.
So we don't realise the difference was with the roof. You just play on different surface now. It's just proper, running surface. The surface is much better. Whereas back then it was more difficult.
Yeah.
Because it was wet, it was muddy in the sense of being really bad muddy, but the top 2 inches was slippery.
Yeah.
So you would slide a lot. Surface is a lot better now.
And the surface in the Millennium Stadium, it did, it's Principality now, but it did used to tear up a lot, didn't it? And when it
so they got hybrid now. They got half and half, and they're hybrid.
Yeah.
So
is it the Deso pitches now? Where it's like half.
It was much better. Half. Yeah, I remember I played. I think it was 2000. I played 7 series. Was at the Principality, and it was much better because I played 90. It was 19. I played a couple of cup finals with Philly there as well. Before the other stadiums and the old new stadiums, the surface was much better. Playing sevens on it, it was much firmer.
Okay,
and a better atmosphere as well because it was close.
Yeah.
Just bouncing around in there.
It's like a cathedral almost. Talking about your retirement from rugby, so obviously you mentioned doing teaching now. What else are you up to at the minute? To occupy your time.
So I spent so after finished playing, I went away and brought the kids up, and because the wife had been brought all the kids up. I was with my wife for 21, so it took 10 years away. Wife turned around to me about 4 years ago. So my son was playing rugby. I was starting to play district rugby, and I was taking him back and forth to games and things. And a couple of people I knew were coaching asked me, "Can I do some skills with some of the players?" So wife said to me, "Why don't you help out?" Brilliant, I thought. It's not me asking. She's saying, "Go and coach." So I started coaching, helping out do some skills with age grade and 16s with Cardiff.
Yeah.
Then did a little bit more with the under-18s, some of the better players. Then started doing some skills with Cardiff Met, so doing some skills with their performance squad back 3 players. So high ball, counter-attack, sidestepping, those sort of one-on-ones things. The things I talked about, what I needed to do when I was playing. And then started coaching, went from age grade rugby. I've been coaching St Peter's for the last 2 seasons. Men's rugby, Div 1 and Welsh Champ. Loved that. Really enjoyed coaching older players as well as younger players as well. And I've just been asked now to coach Cardiff Met Saturday Prem team next year. So looking forward to it. Good challenge. I like a challenge.
Yeah.
Keeps me on my toes, keeps me busy. I like being busy.
Say busy again.
Yeah. I like watching, hours and hours of rugby, although the wife doesn't. So
better than cricket though. Well, short game anyway.
Yeah, so cricket, I love cricket. Cricket was probably, second love for me. Back then, when I was growing up, the rugby season would finish and all the rugby players would then start playing cricket. So the cricket season would start the week after. So when I grew up, you played rugby all season and you played cricket all season. So all my mates growing up are really good rugby players and really good cricket players. So it crosses over more now, doesn't it? Rugby season goes on much longer, which then crosses over in the cricket season. So I played a lot of cricket. I went back to playing cricket in those 10 years. I didn't coach rugby. So I played with Steve at Miskin.
What's Steve like at cricket?
That was going to be one of my questions, actually.
Scored one of the best hundreds I've seen. Down in Radar away, I remember that, yeah. Radar away, 100, top 100.
Yeah.
Top quality spinner. Yeah, I'd always, if I needed wickets, I'd be captain, or I'd be in the captain's year saying, get me to on, bowling left arm spin, quality, always take wickets. Love playing cricket with the boys.
Good strike bowler, I thought.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Myself,
yeah. Great arm ball as well, if you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, could have been more consistent as anyone could, but yeah. Could
Craig
always
was giving you a bit of stick last podcast.
Yeah,
so,
Craig
yeah,
was,
it was
Yeah, but you always had moments. That's the sign of a good player.
world-class
Always had-
moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always had moments.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. So
How many ducks do you have?
We got
That's what I want to know.
so I played cricket, coached cricket actually for a while. So I helped on a Miskin.
Yeah.
We got into the Premier League down there. We got the semi-final of the National Village Cup. Lost narrowly down in Kent. So yeah, again, more highlights. I know I like playing. I am super competitive. I can be super competitive if I need to be. So back into coaching then, and I've loved it. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to just helping players understand how to become better players rather than sort of dictate and say, right, you've got to do it this way. Is look at what makes them world class player in their position and practice that. I'm helping to understand how to be a better player. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a new lease of life for rugby then, really, a little bit.
Yeah, I thought what's really good is when the players go on the field and enjoy playing rugby and they understand how to get better. So I really enjoyed help other players understand how to get better. And because I had that experience as a young player. I think young players need good coaching.
And being an ex-international, it's great that you can do that as well.
That does help. Don't get me wrong, because they do come in and go, he has pick wheels, but that only opens the door for you so much.
Yeah,
the proof's in the pudding. You've got to produce. In fact, I think there's probably more pressure on me to produce and to help them because they expect more from me.
Yeah.
I take that super seriously. I do a lot of work behind the scenes. I go and watch other people coach and watch them because I've been brought up in a culture down in West Wales where that's moulding me as a player and coach. I'll go to watch different people do different things. I'll pick up little things off them. They'll see different things that I won't see in the game because I've got that cultural background. Yeah. I'll see things they won't see, and we'll have that honest chat just to help each other be better coaches.
Great.
That's key.
So, final bit, 10 fun Q&A questions.
Right. Here we go.
Right, is it 9 or 10?
It's 10, yeah.
It's 10, yeah. Do you want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, go on in. I'll start with the rugby one. I'm chucking you in the front row. Tight head, loose head, or hooker. Were you playing?
Oh, well, I can answer that one easy. My father was a hooker.
Okay.
My younger brother was a hooker. I went into one scrum as hooker.
Yeah.
And I couldn't touch my neck for 3 days. So it was hooker.
It's grim in
I
there,
wouldn't
isn't
go
it?
anything nowhere near loose head, tight head. That's a different ballgame altogether. Yeah. So having a father and a brother hooker, I'd have to be hooker. Or I'd probably have to actually I wouldn't go in a scrum, I'd throw the ball into the line out.
Yeah, I played in my younger days. I played loose head. Tight head was something else. I couldn't handle it. It was grim. So I stayed loose head.
Now he just plays square.
I gotta say, full respect to him when he goes in the front row.
Yeah. What was your best manager that you ever played for?
Coach or manager or either or?
Either or, yeah.
Terry Holmes is really good. The best people or managers or coaches were the people that instilled, I think, belief into me. So down at Llanelli, Ray Gravel, the old centre, he'd always be around the change rooms or in the tunnel before I went out, and he'd always speak to me and give me confidence. He'd say, Justin, you've got a world-class site. Go out there and show everybody how good you are. And those little conversations, and then the coaches that would give me a little technical detail, would spend time with me. But Terry Holmes is really good man manager, really good guy. Would always send players messages about what they did good in the game and things they could work on in that week of training, and he'd take the time in to go away and work on that with you. So that's respect and trust. Those are two key things I think that make successful people and managers.
What's the most random thing you've done as a performance enhancing kind of thing in rugby you thought it was going to get you better?
I'm big on training young people on game scenarios. I don't see a lot of so I've done a lot of research as a teacher, how the brain works, how the brain does decision making, how you learn skills, skill acquisition, and how you get the skill acquisition to perform under pressure. So for me, I come up with lots of quirky things, but the quirky things are there to try and get the player to practice as close to that game scenario as possible.
Yeah.
So when they come into that game scenario, so when it goes back into that pressure moment, they go into what we call the library, the things they practiced. So they get their input of pressure. They go into the decision-making process of, right, where have I seen this before? What do I need to do? And then get the output decision. So I try and make it. So I'll turn up with loads of stuff. So I got, like, when I'm teaching or coaching high ball catching, I coach high ball catching with tennis balls. One, to get their hands high, and two, to get them to cushion that ball in. So I turn up with tennis balls. I turn up with sponge balls. So the whole idea of because you go to catch a high ball with hard hands, the ball will bounce out. So to cushion that ball in, to take the power off it. I've got swimming arms, the foam swimming arms.
Oh, the noodle.
Yeah, noodles. Yeah, so I'm throwing a ball up. So I'll have one person jump in to get that person's eye line. I'll have noodles in their eye line to simulate somebody jumping against them with their arms.
I like that.
Loads of crazy. Anything that can get me as close to the game scenario as possible and put them in that pressure situation. I'm making competitive. So I'll have two people doing that. I'm making competitive. The one person that will win will nominate a forfeit. Everybody likes competition. Everybody likes being successful. Everybody likes a bit of fun in games as well. So I'll make it fun. I'll make it competitive. I'll make it pressurised.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the best Lions team you've ever seen?
Oh, you've got to go. Oh, I've seen that. That's
It's tough one, that.
isn't it?
That is tough.
This is tough.
This is tough, this one.
I think I'd have to go 97.
97.
Because I played against some of those players, and I knew how tough it was out in South Africa. I played out the year before against Northern Transvaal and against most of that team. Okay. And I knew how brutal it could be, and it was brutal. You can go back and watch that DVD.
Yeah,
it's different. I know, and it was a long tour. They played all the big teams, but again, oh God, that is a hard one. 2019 New Zealand as well. You can't.
Oh, the draw series.
What a series that was. And that's a tough tour as well. Yeah, I haven't been out there and seen the standard like the youngsters. Let alone, I went and watched one provincial game, Northland, and that was quality standard rugby. So I'm seeing how much they live and breathe their rugby. I went to one town. I drove from north to south to north, and we went through one town. It didn't have a name, the town. It was just known as Sam King country, and that tells you everything about New Zealand. Wow. So that's a tough one. I think South Africa and New Zealand are the toughest two Lions tours. Yeah, because even the warm up games are brutal.
Yeah,
I don't think there's intensity. I played in a charity game on a Friday night for the first test in Australia against. It was like a British Lions ex-players game against, and it's not as brutal. There isn't quite that physicality. The skill level's higher. Don't get me wrong, but South Africa and New Zealand's different level.
Different gravy.
Yeah.
So 97.
I think I would have to go 97. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with a bit more of an obscure one for you. So if you was trapped on a desert island and you was trying to get off, and you could only take one other rugby player with you, who would that rugby player be with?
I think it'd have to be, first of all, one of my mates.
Yeah.
Because you got to get on now.
Yeah.
Start with. I think I probably would take Lee Davis, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he would just entertain me the whole time I was there.
Would he be useful?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Loads of common sense. Yeah. So, and he trained really hard, so he'd keep us all fit. He'd entertain me. He'd have a bit of common sense. We'd probably be eating raw fish together, fishing or something crazy. We were doing something crazy over there. Do you mean? Yeah. So, because it just comes back to forging that like partnership, because I'd play outside him. So we'd learn to trust each other. Do you mean? We'd have a great time. We stayed fit. We'd come up with some great stories like, when we eventually get off there. We'd probably write a book, actually. We'd get off the design, we'd probably write a book.
Doesn't sound like you ever want to get off.
Yeah, he'd probably create a party or something. We'd probably be like Castaway. We'd probably have like a little footballs, rugby balls with faces on. We'd create our own party or something, I don't know. Yeah, or make our own little sevens team up or something, It wouldn't be boring.
No. Brilliant.
Feel like going now? Feel like going there now? Sounds fun.
Which way you want to look at it? Best or worst sledge? Call it sledge, and that's probably a cricketing term, but like abuse maybe, or
it probably wouldn't be a sledge. It'd probably be abuse.
Yeah.
Jenny, I don't think. I played in Toulouse once in the European game for Cardiff, and in their stadium, the home supporters, all the nutters, a bit like Cardiff City, the Canton stand, all the nutters would be behind the posts, and so I would stand at the post for the kickoff, and the soul I was having thrown at me was flares, lit flares, and coins. and they were abusing me in French.
Coin, yeah.
But and then I just remember going, this is unbelievable. And I was 21, and then like having the experience of like playing in Pontypridd from the shed, Gloucester from the shed, and they're just abusing you. You know, they're abusing your mother. You know, so I wouldn't say I've been like sled. It's like usually like, I've been called you're useless, you're rubbish. Do you mean nothing overly bad?
Yeah,
just usual mother stuff, really. Yeah, more sledging like players, to be honest with you. Like a player would come and I'm going to come and rip your head off, and I'd be blowing kisses just to wind him up even more. Yeah. Just on field stuff like that. You know, a centre would want to come and I played one game for Philly against Pontypool, and it was a centre. It was absolutely huge. He was massive, just ripped, but he couldn't catch a pass. And they were killing us up front, and they had overlaps grow out wide. And I think I was playing centre against him 13, and he just couldn't catch and pass the ball. And I was coaching him on the pitch just to wind him up. And I was going, look, just catch and pass the ball. You're going to overlap. Look, he would score loads of tries, but he couldn't do it because he just didn't have it in him. And I could see him getting madder and madder, and he just threatened to kill me. After the game, I've gone off like because he just lost it. It's just those little things on a pitch.
Yeah.
Just try and wind up
bit
players.
Bit serious.
Yeah,
well,
but you could never wind up the best players.
Yeah.
The best players will always have a comeback, or they just laugh at you, and they carry on. Yeah, because the best players knew it was going to happen.
Enough. Talking on sort of the same theme, did you ever have a red card? And did you deserve it?
No, I didn't. I had a yellow card, and I don't even remember it. My brother, I was playing against my brother and a lot of my mates. So I was playing for fucking Philly, and Carmarthen Quins got promoted into the same top division. And I think it was my last season. And a lot of my mates, my brother, were playing for Carmarthen. And for some reason, I snapped. And I didn't usually snap on a pitch. And the red mist came down. And I've absolutely gone for this guy. I've got into a breakdown, and I've gone to give him one. And the ref's seen it. And he's just yelled card at me.
Was he your brother?
No, I wasn't. He was one of the other wind-up merchants from Carmarthen Centre. And I've just bitten to him for some reason. Like, I think I must have done something wrong, and he's wound me up. So I missed a tackle or something, and he's wound me up, and I've gone. I got to
press the button.
Yeah, I seen him in the bottom of a ruck, and I've gone. I'll give him one now. And the ref seen me yellow card at me. I think that was the only time I've been yellow carded.
Okay, so we talked about sort of like tackles there. What was like the worst tackle you've ever received? Like you just felt like a ton of bricks have hit you, and just like
loads of them. Like back in the 90s,
was there like
each team had a cheap shot player. Right? Unbelievable. No. So if I was known as one of the better players on the pitch, right? And so if I was known as somebody who could really influence the result, right? So when I was playing, more so for when I was playing semi-pro with Philly, so we were still playing against the top teams. So they'd be playing in every team that would be known as the hatchet man. So, and he would short arm you to get you off the pitch. Like so many times I would come down the blind side off a ruck, and the hatchet man would be there waiting for me, and I'd pass the ball, and he would short arm me across the face. And loads of times. And I've had that like all the way through my career.
Wipeout job, that, isn't
it? Yeah, off the ball. Yeah, and never in the ribs. Never. Always in the face.